Stay tuned for the Splash Live. It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Keefe, glad to be with you alongside Kevin McIntosh. Kevin, glad to have you back and be back in the swing of things for another week ahead.
Per usual, Tyler, happy to be here. A lot to talk about in our greater West Bloomfield area, but another day, another opportunity. Let's get straight to it, Tyler.
Yeah, it's going to be a busy week. We have a lot going on here, including some special programming right here on Civic Center TV and some special programs that will be out and about and involved in, including the Juneteenth Jamboree happening Wednesday morning through the afternoon at the Recreation Activity Center and throughout the Civic Center campus. There will be plenty to do at this year's Juneteenth event, and there are some things being done differently this year as well. Vincent Kirkwood, who is a member of the West Bloomfield Diversity Task Force, joined us recently for a discussion and to give us the inside scoop of some of what's going on at this year's event. Take a look.
On the campus of the West Bloomfield Township Hall, we're going to have music, we're going to have dancing, we're going to have an African drum group, we're going to have food, we're going to have face paintings, we're going to have workshops by Stephanie Kreider, we're going to have the library who is going to do a history of Juneteenth with several individuals. They have a performance, I'm sorry, not a performance, but a lecture, if you will, at 11 o'clock and at 1 o'clock, and both speak to the Juneteenth celebration, what it means. The 11 o'clock is more so for the children, and then the 1 o'clock is for the adults. But you're welcome to come to both events.
Yeah, that's a great point made by Vincent there. It's open to anybody in the community and from outside the community that wants to learn about Juneteenth, why that is a significant day in American history, and to celebrate the diversity that it promotes here in our community. We are a true melting pot of a local community, and that's something that Kirkwood did also touch on in our discussion about why West Bloomfield is all in on this year's Juneteenth Jamboree.
Our community is so diverse. Our community is not one group. Our community is a mixture of a lot of different people, and that includes African Americans. So to celebrate in West Bloomfield is a great honor. I'm happy to be a part of it for the last couple years.
Yeah, it's a great event every single year since the birth of this event years ago. And usually, Kevin, they've had a Juneteenth celebration with some events all throughout the week, some pocket events popping up here and there, and then a big celebration at West Bloomfield High School. This year, kind of combining all of those elements into one day on the actual holiday itself from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. at the Civic Center complex next door to us, Town Hall, the Recreation Activity Center, and the library all hosting this year's celebration.
Yes, and that's what we like, Tyler. One, celebrating the different cultures within the community, but then letting everybody know this is open to everyone, all cultures. We want everyone to come, everyone to experience it, everyone to kind of understand the background of the culture and diversity and everything involved with it. So it's a great reflection of the community. I can't wait to be a part of it myself, Tyler.
If you can't be out there, we will be out there for a special edition of the Splash Live. Kevin will be in studio here. We'll have some special guests along with him, including Sonia James from the West Bloomfield School District. Some new members of our team out and about in the community. Vincent Kirkwood will join us as well from various locations. We'll have the full scoop on the day's events and plenty of more Juneteenth programming. Kevin, the best place for people to go is to head over to our social media.
Yep, of course. Civic Center TV 15 on Facebook, on YouTube, Civic Center TV. And if you're watching on Civic Center TV right now, you can also scan the QR code to go directly to our links to keep up with us all over social media.
Yeah, I'll take you to all of our social media links. Follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, subscribe, and hit that bell icon on our YouTube page. You'll get notifications whenever we post a new video, and we put everything up there. You'll never miss a moment of the action in the greater West Bloomfield community. Kevin, we love these feel-good stories of accomplishment in our communities, and once again, one of those happening at Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital. Congratulations to their team on their comprehensive epilepsy programs for achieving National Association of Epilepsy Centers accreditation. You can learn more about their epilepsy programs and including advanced evaluation and some cutting-edge treatments happening right here in Greater West Bloomfield by visiting their website, henryford.com/services. You can also follow them on their Facebook page at Henry Ford Health. Kevin, it seems to be that when technology and innovation and new treatments come into play for these diseases and conditions that affect a lot of people, Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital seems to be one of those big leaders in our local area.
Right in our own backyard too, Tyler. It is good to hear that we are being trusted. Our professionals right here in our own backyard are being trusted to lead not only the state but the nation in some of this great innovative state-of-art technology. So I love to see it. Hopefully we're a pioneer to something that's going to be great and effective for the entire country and the world.
Yeah, having a brother that has epilepsy and having had my own seizure-related issues myself, good to know that there are those resources in our community that are on the cutting edge, including our friends at Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital. Kevin, we love to get out into the sun and celebrate the summer with some good friends and some good books. That's what's happening in the heart of the lakes. Quite the gathering late last week at Fran Leaf Park. It was the first of their 3 Story Time in the Park events for the summer of 2024 with Keego Harbor Parks and Rec and the West Bloomfield Township Public Library, all part of their Keego Connect initiative. The next Story Time is coming up very soon, just a couple weeks away, July 9th, once again at 10:30 a.m. back in Fran Leaf Park. For more information on all these events happening through Keego Connect this summer, the Storytime in the Park events, and any updates you may need, including how to get involved in Keego Harbor Parks and Rec, Facebook.com/KHParks. Kevin, this is a great way to get kids outside, meet some of the kids in their local area and their community, play around in the park, get the families familiar with it, and hey, also get that summer reading in. Tough to do sometimes.
I love hitting on so many different points at once for the kids. Yes, let them enjoy the outside. Yes, let them be around other kids. But also, we're throwing a book in there. We're throwing story time, literature in there during the summer. And we're making it seem fun with all that being incorporated. So it's a great idea, great effort from everyone in Keego Harbor on that point.
And if your kids are looking for something a little bit more active to do in the park, you can join Keego Harbor for some disc golf in mid-July, about a month away, July 14th at 11 a.m. Another one of their Keego Connect events, a youth disc golf instructional event happening with Driftwood Creek Disc Golf as part of the Keego Connect events this summer. In the meantime, maybe touch up on your game a little bit out there in Baxter Morgan Park, where the brand new disc golf course is up and running for the entire community. Our reporter Jake Schaff has more.
There's nothing better than enjoying a nice sunny day out on the golf course. But whoever said golf could only be played with balls? The city of Keego Harbor unveiled their long-awaited disc golf course right here at Baxter Morgan Park, providing another unique way to help bring the community together and to have a lot of fun along the way.
The grand opening here of the Baxter Morgan Disc Golf Course is essentially just to let everyone know that it is here and available for use. Just kind of introduce it to people. It's a great sport to get out and walk for the whole family. And so kind of just letting everyone know that we've installed a course here makes it easy for locals to come out and play. You know, it's a good stepping stone to get into the sport. And so kind of here in Michigan, disc golf is a passion of many. And so kind of introducing that and getting more people involved, getting more people courses of different calibers, that they see that, you know, there is an interest in this area, and we can get the youth involved and kind of develop those talents that are out there.
It's been in talks for a while. Mostly it's been coordinated by our Parks and Rec group, our Parks and Rec committee. Total volunteers. I know a lot of large communities have a full-time staff for their Parks and Rec department. We're a small city, you know, less than a square mile and under 3,000 people, so we rely on volunteers a lot. So I really got to give a lot of credit to Kirsten Douglas and her crew of volunteers, because they drove this with a lot of support from some of the business owners in the community and people in the disc golf community.
How has it been to see the community and the families enjoying the course here today?
It's pretty surreal, actually. The process has been somewhat grueling, the ordering the baskets and then that taking an extreme amount of time. But to hear the chains in the background and to hear people talking and having fun and to see people on multiple holes at a time is really something special, at least for an enthusiast like myself. But to see people enjoying it and then they know it's here for them, I expect we'll see a lot more of this.
The best usage of this course, other than small ace race events, is to have your lunch break. So if you live in this area, Keogh Harbor, and you say, hey, I just want to get a disc or two and just go play for like 30 minutes. If you live in this area and you like disc golf, bring in 2 discs, just throw them at the tee pads, because each hole is maybe 150 feet. So it's really short. It's really easy, and you can go really fast and have some good physical activity.
What do you hope this course ultimately brings to the city of Keogh Harbor?
I just a way for community members to interact with each other and have fun. It'd be nice to spend some time in the park, go to a couple restaurants afterwards, and enjoy the community. You know, we've got public swim sites they can go to in the summer after they play, you know, around out here. It's a 9-hole course. So yeah, it just really engaging the community, getting some participation from people in the community, and really just having fun.
There's nothing better than seeing these families smile. I certainly had a lot of fun here today, and I guarantee that you will as well. So the next time you're in the area, take a stop by Baxter Morgan Park, as it's a great way to pass the time and an even better way to enjoy these warm summer months we've got coming up ahead. For Civic Center TV, I'm Jake Schaff.
Appreciate that, Jake. And of course, you can learn more about what's going on in Keogh Harbor, some of the new amenities through Keogh Harbor Parks and Rec, and all those events happening throughout the summer. Facebook.com/KHParks for even more information. Kevin, it's always good to start off the week with a little bit of learning and maybe even a little bit of a history lesson. Our communities connect in a number of different ways, but rarely do we see those ways where we truly have all 4 communities converging at once to do something great together. A great example is our cable commission here in Greater West Bloomfield, which oversees our operation here at Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Arguably the only other partnership that compares to that in terms of bringing all 4 communities together is our Tri-City Fire Department partnership between West Bloomfield's Fire Department and the cities of Keogh Harbor, Orchard Lake Village, and Sylvan Lake. Check out this picture from the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society. They posted over the weekend. It includes badges of all 3 of our different fire departments from throughout the years. It includes our Life Squad, or EMS, from the West Bloomfield Fire Department from way back in the day, the current West Bloomfield Fire Department and EMS badge on the far right, and in the middle, the Tri-City Fire Department insignia from back in the day. Nowadays, all of those are covered under one umbrella, the West Bloomfield Fire Department partnering with each of our Tri-Cities to provide fire and EMS services. Kevin, really cool story that is behind this Tri-City Fire Board. If you ever have a chance to attend one of their meetings and ask some of their longtime members about that partnership, it is such a cool story. And it's a really great way to show how our 4 communities have come together to provide some critical services to one another.
It is kind of interesting to hear overall, right? To kind of hear that, they once decided, let's all come together and just do this together as one community. I mean, although we're separate communities, we're going to still service each other if we do need a hand. And that's essentially what you want out of neighbors in general. So that's just a great lesson in general, but a great history lesson for our communities here in the greater West Bloomfield.
Yeah, I'm going to do some name dropping. If you ever have a chance in our communities to talk to Dave Berger or Ted Wade especially, they are an encyclopedia of our local fire history, including this partnership. So a great opportunity to learn about that. And you can learn more about our local history as well on the Facebook page of the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society, where this picture is posted. Tell your stories also. Hey, were you part of the Tri-City Fire Department? Do you have some fun stories or some cool stories from back in the day? Facebook at GWBHS for more information, and find more historical stories from across our 4 communities on GWBHS.org. Kevin, it is officially the summer vacation for our kids in the West Bloomfield School District and many of our local school districts as well, which means it's time to start thinking about that summer learning and that summer reading. Plenty of those sorts of programs over at the West Bloomfield Township Public Library. And joining us now to talk about that and some more is Emily Vickers. Emily, thank you for being with us. And so to get started, tell us a little bit about how the library is involved in creating an engaging summer learning environment and opportunities for our local kids.
So the library does a lot of programming, starting with our summer reading program that we offer every year. We just want kids to be actively engaged throughout the summer. It's very important that kids will pick up a book, but also just keep their minds active, whether it be building in STEAM or continuing education throughout the summer, like speech and language or other things that they may be working on at school.
And we teased it a little bit. There'll be some teachers and also speech language pathologists that come in, because not only is that learning from the reading so important in helping develop some of those language skills, that vocabulary, but also the communication element of it can be critical, especially for our younger kids.
Correct. Yep, it's really important to, especially kids that are receiving speech services, we want to make sure that they continue some of those speech services throughout the summer. Our speech pathologists that we have broken down into 4 different sessions. They are registration required, and they have very low numbers for registration, because they want to make sure that they're working with them on the continued areas that they may need some support. So such as like articulation, or group building skills or conversational skills. They want to make sure that they're working on them to continue through the summer. And the reading program is broken down into 2 sessions, kindergarten through 2nd and 3rd through 5th grades, because it's important they're both age groups are working on different reading elements that we want to make sure that the teachers and the speech pathologists are touching on throughout the summer.
So as you're working with these teachers and these speech pathologists, now they're coming in, they're experts in the subject matter, but you're still dealing with the kids. And it's all about the kids engaging and learning and developing over these next couple of months before they get back in the classroom and continue that next school year. So from an engagement standpoint, how do you tailor your programs to not only be great learning opportunities from a teaching standpoint, but engaging and something that the kids will be excited to learn from?
And that's a great question. I think that that's part of teaching. Teaching can't just be offering a whole bunch of information. It has to be fun, especially little guys. They learn through play. They learn through conversation. They learn through reading, writing, drawing, building. So that's a really important part to our programming here at the library. We want to make sure that all aspects of their brain are being stimulated so that learning is fun. And sometimes it's so much fun that they don't even realize that they're learning. So that's why we're doing so many awesome programs throughout the summer. And we have programmings all the way from babies all the way to adults that stimulate our brain throughout the summer.
Emily Vickers is with us from the West Bloomfield Township Public Library. Many of their summer learning and engagement programs are open for registration, including those with local teachers and speech pathologists at this time. WBLIB.org to register and to learn more about their programs and other initiatives at the library. Make sure to follow them on Facebook at West Bloom LIB. So as we're talking about these classes, and you mentioned that you have to register for them, the relatively small classes, who are these classes open to? Are they specifically open to kids that are typically going to be having those speech pathologists and extra help in the classroom over the school year, or can any kids engage in this?
The speech pathology classes are specifically designed for children that are already receiving speech services through their school. So we really prefer that children sign up for those programs that are already receiving speech services so they can continue that over the summer. The reading program is open to anybody that just wants additional reading support throughout the summer. And the other programs, such as Read to a Dog, it's open to anybody. No registration is required, and it also builds reading skills. So, and then our summer reading program is open to anybody with a West Bloomfield library card. So we're very excited to offer a wide variety of reading programs throughout the summer.
And that's what's really important, too, to touch on, is that these resources go beyond necessarily these specific classes or courses. They may not fit into a schedule with all the other activities in the summer. So what additional resources are available during this time of the year that families across our local schools, and whether they're residents in West Bloomfield or just in the West Bloomfield School District, can work with to continue that learning?
Yeah, I think that's a really important thing that we think about when we're doing our programs. We want to make sure that we offer different times for our programs, so it's not just throughout the day. Some of them are in the nighttime. We just want to make sure that everybody feels that our programs are available to them and that there's a good fit for all of our different programming.
And all that can be found on WBLIB.org, and you can register as we speak for some of those. So we talked about a lot about the speech pathology angle of this, but from the engagement angle, which we also touched on a little bit, let's go into specifics. What are some of these fun events that kids are going to be able to take part of, or classes that will get kids even more interested in reading and learning when they're outside of the classroom?
So I think one of our favorite programs here at the library is Read to a Dog. I think that is the program that gets the most kids in here. It's reading to a non-judgmental person. So it's not a person, it's a dog, but a non-judgmental being. And the dogs just will sit there and listen, and they're therapy dogs, so they're very calm. And it's amazing to watch the connection between a dog and the children. It's kind of amazing. But we do have tons of other programming. We have STEAM building program. We have an animal program with Nelson's Wildlife Safari coming up. So we have a lot of programs that will build on other skills besides reading. So it could be STEAM, it could be animals, it could be biology. We also have YA programs. We had one last night for coding, so computer coding. So we have lots of programs for young children that will engage them in different ways, because not everybody is interested in the same things. So we want to make sure that everybody feels like maybe something they're interested in is connected at the library as well.
And looking through your summer activities catalog for kids, another thing that I found that was really cool is we know that we're in such a melting pot in these 4 communities that we cover and that are encompassed in the West Bloomfield School District and across our communities. And so it's important to also help those kids that are maybe making a language transition and are still learning English to be able to do that. And the summer is a great time for that. You got a program called Kids Talk that helps to do that in a kind of a special way through a group.
Yep. So our Kids Talk program is amazing. Ms. Justine, one of our youth librarians, hosts a Kids Talk, which is for children that are English language learners. And it's for kindergarten through 5th grade. And she does great activities with these kids just to build conversation and literacy skills, but also be able to feel in a comfortable environment that they can express themselves in their home language or whatever language they speak. Sometimes they're dual language learners. So it's very cool to just have kids in the comfort of their own being, be able to talk amongst other children and learn through activities that Miss Justine has created. It's a very awesome program. We love that program, and it's pretty well attended. So we hope that more people will learn about it and join us.
A great way to get these kids even more engaged in the English language and in communicating, meet some friends in the community as well, and hopefully that will translate back to the classroom in the fall. Emily Vickers is with us from the West Bloomfield Township Public Library, talking about many of their engagement and learning programs, including their speech pathology programs for over the summer. You can learn more about all of those and register for these programs on WBLIB.org. Emily, before we let you go, anything else we haven't talked about so far that people should know about these programs or should keep in consideration throughout the summer?
Yeah, so most of the programs are not like you don't register for the whole group. You can register 1 month in advance for any of our programs. So we hope that if you can't make one, that hopefully you can make another one that will fit for you. And many of our programs are no registration. So we hope that you can join us for any of those. We have programs here at the library. We have programs at Drake Park. We'll also have programs at the school at Doherty. So we're really excited to be out in the community so we can see all of our friendly faces and friends throughout the summer. And we also have, like I said, we have the language and the reading programs for kids to continue learning throughout the summer. So we're really excited to see all of you and make sure you sign up for summer reading.
And it's for kids of all different ages and all different needs throughout the summer to engage in learning and a nice and supportive environment as well. Emily, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, glad to have had Emily on the show to talk about all these programs. Great way to engage kids in some learning over the summer, prevent a little bit of that summer slide so that, Kevin, when they go back into the classroom to their teachers, they are ready to learn come the fall.
Forward momentum, keep them going. Yeah, we know a idle brain can be very, very dangerous. It's a slippery slope. So to keep your brain busy, especially at a young age during the summertime, very important with programs that they hold at our local establishments. So it's great information, great interview, by the way, too, Tyler.
Appreciate that, Kevin. And we have some more celebrating to do in order. We've done a lot of that lately for people of all different areas of our community, but especially now for one of our local teachers.
Specifically, Tyler, we have a teacher in the West Bloomfield School District celebrating 50 years working right here in our community. Join us right here on the Splash Live from the counseling department. She's the chairperson at the West Bloomfield High School. We have Karen Brody joining us on the Splash. Thank you so much for your time.
Good morning.
Thank you. And good morning to you too. So Karen, 50 years working in the West Bloomfield School District with no plans on slowing down. How does it feel?
It feels great. It is summer, and this is a rest time. But this spring, I had the opportunity all year to kind of reflect on having been in just one building for my entire work career. I like to say that I started very young, probably very, very young. I walked right out of college, and I just enjoy what I do very much.
And that's always good to hear. I mean, if you've been doing it 50 years in the same building, that really goes to show that you love what you're doing. And those are just personal goals. So how has your motivation as a counselor changed over your years?
Well, I think a lot of teachers and a lot of counselors would tell you that we find that we don't grow any older. The kids, and the reason is we're always working with people of the same age, always teenagers. Mm-hmm. And so therefore, I think it's really important to every year, new challenges, there are new students, there's new faces, and there's new ways to connect with them. So it never gets old. I guess I could say it that way.
I would imagine so many different personalities, turnover rate over time with different faces, and it keeps you on your toes too. The youth keeps you young also, so I would imagine it's a lot of fun behind that. With that being said, do you have any favorite memories that stand out to you over the years?
Well, over the years, and again, when I started, I came in as a math teacher and as a yearbook teacher. And I think one of my very favorite memories, because I've been a big supporter of the yearbook staff and of our theater department. I have worked all 50 years supporting the theater department. It's one of my own personal hobbies, if you will. And just watching that whole program continue, grow, develop, some of the very special performances. My own 3 children all went to West Bloomfield High School and graduated, and were all involved in the theater department while they were there. So some of those extracurricular activities have been very special to me. I'm also a very big sports fan for the Lakers, and having been to see the state championships, whether it was football or girls basketball or baseball. I've been to a lot of games. I think the only event I've never attended is an equestrian event, mostly because I can't figure out how to do that. Maybe that'll have to be a goal for this coming year.
Okay. But we need support like that. The students need support like that from the staff. They want to see you in the classroom. They want to see you out, when they're out playing their sport, their respective sport and things of that nature. It builds that connection with the kids. Also builds that trust, especially in your department. I completely understand. Join us here on the Splash Live from the counseling department chairperson, West Bloomfield High School. We have Karen Brody joining us, talking about 50 years working for West Bloomfield School District. You say you start off as a math teacher and yearbook teacher. Talk about that transition from that into counseling. How did you even get into that? What inspired that?
Well, I come from a family of teachers. I mean, going all the way up to my great-grandfather, right down the line there. And my mother, who was a drama teacher, an English teacher, a phys ed teacher over her. I think she was in education for 38 years. I beat her, but by some. But she, near the end of her many years, she had transitioned into counseling. So I was able to kind of observe how that training went, what she had to do. And that inspired me. Literally 2 years after I started at WBHS, I went back to get my master's degree in counseling. I love the fact that, again, I feel like I can help not just groups of students, but help individual students. And I feel like I have a lot more control over my time and how I can be useful. So I guess you'd have to say I followed my mother's pathway. But again, I've been at it longer than she has now.
There it is. And I can already see how our parents, our grandparents, and just our lineage in general kind of inspires, where we want to kind of go, and, a vision that we can see for ourselves, especially if you've been around it, if they had you around for that entire time also. So yeah, it's pretty much right there. And that's great to hear. What about the incorporation of theater and arts, your love for that, and incorporating that with your love and profession of counseling? Is there any type of connection? How do you correlate those and integrate those?
They're definitely in training theater students, and as they experience any project they're working on, they have to kind of get in touch with their own emotions. Now, as a counselor, we encourage that, and we try to teach them how to do it, not only safe space, those sorts of things, but also to be able then to bring other people in. And so that those sort of counseling skills come across. Now, again, my part at the WBHS Theater, I'm actually more of a business manager for the theater, have been. And, I guess that's the math teacher part of me that's reaching back. But I just love watching students use their emotions. And again, that's the counseling and the real inner soul of those students. And then reaching out to audiences and their fellow students. Love it.
I love that. And that just continues to speak how involved you like to be with the students, even going into your involvement with the honors convocation celebration every year. Can you just talk about your role and involvement with that, please?
Sure. Again, as a young counselor, I sort of inherited that job. Part of it, I guess there's a piece of theater in that, in the sense that, anytime you're presenting for an entire graduating class, you have to kind of be up on stage and you have to conduct things. So that's the theater piece of it. But again, at the end of the year, to be able to celebrate what our senior class has done every year, it's magnificent. And we probably put some theatrical pieces in there. That has evolved over the years. When we first started, we were still holding the whole convocation in the gymnasium, which, by the way, was not very comfortable and not very well. The sound system was terrible. You would not appreciate that bit. And then we moved it into the auditorium, which gives us much more of a chance to make it look not just nicer, but I think it gives the audience a better feel. And now we use technology to help so that everyone can see every student that we're honoring.
And that's a beautiful thing, how everything has grown over the years, how your involvement has actually helped it grow also. And that's why we're here to celebrate you too, Karen. Thank you so much. After 50 years, though, before we go, what are your goals, your plans moving forward?
Well, obviously, I'm going back for year number 51. And again, people say, why? Why do that? It's because I love what I do.
Right.
And I really enjoy working with students. I think there's some retirement at some point out in my future. I can kind of see it. I continue working with not just our theater department in a side step there, but I do a lot of community theater. So I'm out with a lot. I think another point of pride I have is that we have so many West Bloomfield High School alumni who are successful, not just Broadway actors, but they're out in the field of, music production and composition and, acting all over the place. And I bump into people all the time that say, oh my gosh, we did a show back in whatever year. So I love seeing that. And I'll probably continue that even after I stop at WBHS.
Oh my goodness. I love to hear that you still have motivation to continue to go forward. And like we said, I know these kids and these students are going to keep you young and keep you going forward. Thank you again from the counseling department. We have the chairperson of the counseling department from the West Bloomfield High School, Karen Brody, celebrating 50 years with the West Bloomfield School District. Thank you so much for your time, Karen.
I want to thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's an honor to speak to different leaders, educators within the community of Greater West Bloomfield who are making a difference generation after generation. Also, what a legend that we have, and an honor also, Tyler.
Yeah, and a great resource for our teachers and for our kids, having teaching experience, the counseling experience, been in that environment for 50 different graduating classes, 50 different years of students that she's had to interact with and has helped through their educational journey. A great resource that hopefully has some good years ahead beyond 50 in the West Bloomfield School District. As look, she's not counting down the days to retirement. That school district, that community has to be counting down the days until her retirement, because they got some big shoes to fill over at West Bloomfield High School when that happens. Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Plenty more to get to from across our community. We'll take a break and be right back.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. Bringing you stories and memories from Orchard Lake, Civic Center TV, and 89.3 Lakes FM.
I don't know why you're so sad. You've got a roof over your head.
You gotta stop with that depressing stuff.
That's what white people think.
You alright?
It just feels like it's coming from everywhere.
Do you want to talk about it?
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad.
Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
Good nutrition can help make sure you have enough iron, calcium, and vitamin C in your body, which can make it harder for lead to enter your bloodstream. Help protect your family from the harmful effects of lead.
Want to enjoy Civic Center TV on your social media? Find us on Instagram at Civic Center TV. Get notified when we upload one of our interviews, full episodes, and more. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. And now, back to the Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm Tyler Kieft alongside Kevin McIntosh. Kevin, we love to make sure that people are getting connected with some health resources in our community, especially important when it comes to those tests that could potentially save your life.
Yes, Tyler, and join us here on the Splash Live to debunk some type of rumors that we may hear about different screenings with lung cancer. We have from the Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital, Dr. Ikenna Okereke, MD, join us. Appreciate your time for joining us, Doctor.
Hey, how are you? Thanks.
Absolutely. So we're talking about an article from yahoo.com. Fewer than 1 in 5 eligible Americans are getting the recommended lung cancer screening. You specialize in lung and esophageal disease. What did you have to say in regards to that article?
Yeah, so in fact, that's an overestimate. Yeah, we do very poorly when it comes to lung cancer screening in this country, in Michigan, in the region. So a few years ago, it was determined that if we screened people between the ages of 50 and 80 with some smoking history, I can get into details, but if we screen those people, we could save lives. And yet across the country, only about 6 to 7% of those people who should be screened are screened. And screening is just a CT scan of the chest.
Wow. So let's get into who should be going for a lung cancer screening and when should you do this? Should this be all Americans?
Yeah, very good question. So as I said, if you're between the ages of 50 and 80 and you have a certain pack year history, that's 20 years of smoking at least 1 pack a day, or 40 years of 0.5 packs a day. You do that math to get to 20 pack years. Those patients should get yearly screening CT scans while they're in that age range of 50 to 80.
Interesting. So we are talking about maybe the older population and demographic, not necessarily the younger adults and things of that nature. So thank you for clarifying that. And what about the non-smokers, I should say? In what ways do environmental, genetic, or even like lifestyle factors affect or contribute to lung cancer in non-smokers?
That's a fantastic question. That's the emphasis of some of the research that we're doing here at Henry Ford in Wayne County and surrounding counties. So we have seen that roughly 15 to 20% of people nowadays who get lung cancer are lifetime never smokers. And so for us, we looked over the last 40 years at never smokers in Wayne County to see who gets lung cancer. Well, if you're never smokers, and where do you get lung cancer? And what is interesting is that there were specific clusters and they correlated to the most polluted areas in Wayne County. So to your point, there are probably environmental, maybe even occupational factors which contribute to the development of lung cancer in smokers and non-smokers.
Wow, that was very interesting. To even hear about non-smokers being affected by lung cancer is kind of a scary situation, a cost situation. Joining us here on the Splash Live, talking about lung cancer screening, we have from the Henry Ford Hospital, West Bloomfield, Dr. Ikenna Okereke, MD. Just talking about a little bit more about people who should be getting screenings overall, and the education behind lung cancer screening. Speaking of education, how do you feel our healthcare providers play a role in educating us in lung cancer screening?
So what I try to tell people is that, as I said, getting a CT scan is fairly easy. It's fairly non-invasive. The amount of radiation exposure from the specific type of CT scan we give for screening CTs for lung cancer is minimal, very low amount. So really, as you say, it's really the awareness. And what can we do as providers to make awareness the public? And I say that really should be everybody, not only the surgeon, primary care, pulmonologist, but really anyone who is a caregiver at whatever level should consider there's such a low rate of lung cancer screening, and we know that it saves lives in this specific cohort. What can we do to increase that rate? And to your point, most people in the community don't even know the criteria, the guidelines, the safety. And so it really is, what can we do to overcome that obstacle and that gap in knowledge base in the community? And I think it's everyone's job.
No, absolutely. I would like to say so too. It's about awareness first and foremost. If you're not aware of it, how would you even know how to tackle it in general? And then being able to openly talk to your healthcare providers and for them to provide the information and the resources goes a long way. Doctor, we appreciate your time here. Before we go, any additional important information that we should know right here in the Greater West Bloomfield area about lung cancer or lung cancer screenings?
I think most importantly, as I said, get the CT scan if you're in that criteria group, both on age and the amount of cigarettes that you've smoked. And I know some people have some fear of the unknown. I get the CT scan and it might lead to a diagnosis, but it's always better to know than not to know. So there is some fear, there is some mistrust, medical mistrust. It's probably warranted in the community. But I would say to anyone who's listening, if you're in that age range and you've smoked, get the CT scan. It's better to know than not to know.
That's a great point. That's a great point. Thank you again for your time. From the Henry Ford Hospital, West Bloomfield, Dr. Ikenna Okereke, MD, talking about lung cancer and lung cancer screening, Greater West Bloomfield area. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you, Kevin.
Yes, Tyler, this is why we like to talk to professionals right here in the area to keep us aware about information that we may not be privy to, different statistics and things of that nature that may affect a great population of residents in our community. But it's good that we had Dr. Okereke to come on here and talk about that.
Yeah, A, so you know what these treatments look like, what these screenings look like, and what goes into them. You have that knowledge before you explore. And B, you know some of the resources in our community. All this technology and these innovations we talk about in Henry Ford West Bloomfield Hospital and our other local hospital systems, they don't mean a thing if you don't get the screening you need first in order to understand what is available to you if you do end up having lung cancer and needing some treatment to help save your life. These tests are not something that takes a lot of time or effort to go into getting them done. So get them done, especially if you're in one of those risk factor groups, like you're a smoker or you have a history of lung cancer in your family, like Dr. Okereke had spoken about.
Right.
Great interview. You can see that if you're just tuning in on our website on civiccentertv.com. You'll never miss the action across our community on our website and on our social media. We encourage you to like, subscribe, and follow us across our socials on Facebook and on Civic Center TV 15, on YouTube and Instagram at Civic Center TV. Scan this QR code. It's on your screen as we speak, civiccentertv.com. Scan that. You'll be able to find all of our socials in just one single click, and also keep up to date on all of our videos. Some special programming coming up. We recently had some live video out at the 15th annual Greater West Bloomfield Health and Wellness Fair. It's election season. We've got some partial candidate forums coming up with some impartial candidate forums coming up with the League of Women Voters over the next few weeks. So you can go to the polls informed. Again, all of our social media and everything you need to see on our website on civiccentertv.com. Kevin, what's been on the rise in our community? A game that is sweeping the nation and the world. Pickleball becoming the next big thing, even here in Greater West Bloomfield. That is especially so in the prettiest little city in Michigan, in Sylvan Lake. Joining us is one of the people that has joined the craze in Sylvan Lake behind pickleball. Karen Burkfield is with us on the Splash Live. Thanks for being with us, Karen.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Yeah, happy to have you on to talk about pickleball because it's, as we said, something that people are getting really enthusiastic about. And as someone like yourself that is one of those now pickleball enthusiasts, what about this game makes it so fun and attractive to people in our community?
Well, I think part of it is the social end of it. You know, you meet people that have a same interest. There are people that want to be active in their lifestyle. And it's, I don't know. I mean, it's competitive. It's as competitive as you want it to be. We've got a group here that we call the patty cake players. They just want to go out and get the exercise and meet the other girls on the court in the morning. And then all the way up to people who compete in tournaments across the state. So, yeah, I think the appeal is so universal. We've got more and more younger people out playing now too, like, even middle schoolers, but I've noticed a lot of college age kids out using the courts.
And we see that not only in Sylvan Lake, but in communities all across the U.S., especially now as we're in the summer season and people are getting outdoors. There's so many different courts all around the Greater West Bloomfield area and throughout Oakland County that people can enjoy playing pickleball at. And so as we've seen this game grow over the years, talk about the growth, too, of that community. You mentioned the patty cake players and some of the other more competitive players in Sylvan Lake that have grown this game in your community. Now, what's that been like? What's that experience been like to grow that group over the years and meet some of your neighbors?
We've met a lot of neighbors that I probably wouldn't have known otherwise, you know. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Continue.
Yeah, go right ahead. I can
Okay.
still see you, Karen.
Okay, good. I'm sorry. During COVID, there was a group of 5 or 6 of us maybe who ran into an instructor, and he said he would come and get us started. So he would come once a week. He charged us $60 an hour, and we would just split it. Whoever was there would split it. And from that 6 people or so, we now have about 60 on our GroupMe app that we use for communicating with each other and for setting up events and all that. So it's just, once you play it, I mean, either you love it or you hate it. And if you love it, it's in your blood, you know. We now have the Sylvan Lake Ladder League, which has just started this year. And people are having such a blast. We thought we would start it just for June to see what the interest was, and we're definitely going to go through July now. So it's just phenomenal, really, and it's something also you don't have to be in your community to play it. We've got the snowbirds that go down to Florida or wherever they go in season out to Arizona. And they play it there, and that way they can hone their skills all winter long when we up here have to find places indoors to play, So it's been great.
Yeah, and it's going to be even better, too, pretty soon here because we know here in West Bloomfield, just a little ways away from where you're at in Sylvan Lake, we got a new big pickleball center that's going in the Gateway Center. Pickle Rage going to be opening up there, a new location in just a little while. They've already started building their exterior and constructing the interior. So this game's only going to continue to grow throughout our community. So getting back into the playing of the game itself, because we know it's not only great exercise and great for fitness, but it is a sport in its own right, and some sports aren't for everybody. But what about pickleball, the actual game itself, captured your interest after the first couple times you tried it?
Well, like I said, we started during COVID, so it was a way for all of us to get outdoors, be social when, everything else was saying don't be social. And I think it really got several of us through that tough time. The sociability of it is awesome. It can be pretty fast. Like it's not my husband is more of a golfer and a bocce player. So it can be a little bit fast, but that's what I like about the workout of it. It's just, it feels great. And I'm not one to go to the gym. I think a lot of our players aren't really, gym people. So they feel good being outdoors and being so active.
And especially this time of the year, how do you expect that to continue to grow in Sylvan Lake as people see more of their neighbors out and about playing this game? They hear more about pickleball and how much enthusiasm that there is. Do you imagine that you're going to see this group expand even further?
Absolutely. I really do. We would like to get the kids, even the younger kids, the maybe younger than middle school kids, involved in it eventually. We've got a great resident here. Mary Lewis has been our super ambassador. She, if we're down there playing and she sees people walking by that are just kind of curious, she'll say, come on in, we have extra paddles. And we've gotten a number of players that way, and once they play it, like I said, they're either hooked on it or it's like, okay, thank you. I'll keep this in mind, but it grows exponentially every season. It's been amazing.
Yeah, and it has grown such a great community of players, not only in our individual places like Sylvan Lake and in West Bloomfield and Kego and beyond, but a collective group as well across Oakland County and southeastern Michigan. So whether you're waiting for Pickle Rage to open to get indoors in that air conditioning, or you're out at Drake Sports Park, or you're playing with the patty cake players and others in the city of Sylvan Lake, really is a game that's bringing people together. Karen, anything else you'd like to say about how this group of Sylvan Lakers have come together to enjoy this great game, but even better yet, enjoy the company of their friendly neighbors?
Well, it's just that, you know, like I said, I've met people I never would have met. I wouldn't have had anything in common with them. But now we have that to share. And you find out more about them by chatting while you're not playing and things like that. I mean, it's been an amazing gatherer of people, sort of, you know, that's really been felt in our community. And I know it's been felt other places as well.
It is the prettiest little city in the state of Michigan, and anything that can happen to bring people together and make that city a little bit prettier is always going to be a positive. Karen, thank you so much for your time today.
Okay, thanks so much.
Yeah, glad to have you with us to talk about the growth of pickleball in Sylvan Lake. A great story. She mentioned Mary Lewis earlier on, Kevin, just a moment ago, who's helped to really grow that game. She was recognized for putting that effort forth to bring people together in the city of Sylvan Lake behind this game at the Michigan Week Awards. A really heartwarming story out of Sylvan Lake.
That's great to see and hear about the growth of pickleball within our communities, man. I'm not too privy about it, but it was great to hear more about it throughout that interview. Tyler, great interview, by the way. But I mean, a new sport, I'm all about sports, so I'm advocating for it. Eventually, I'm gonna have to get out there and play some.
I'm going to get out there. I'm going to have a headband on. I'm going to have 2 wristbands on. I'm going to look ridiculous.
You and me.
And probably be absolutely terrible at the game. But hey, at the very least, give some people a good laugh. That's what we got to do. We got to get out to Drake Sports Park, out the Pickle Rage, out in Sylvan Lake with some friendly people out there and see for ourselves what that's all about. Some inspiration from Karen and the crew out in Sylvan Lake. Kevin, we had some high-flying neighbors stop by for a visit over the weekend at the Recreation Activity Center, perhaps to pose for their close-up. Pretty apropos, as over the weekend we recognized National Photography Day, and so did our friends at West Bloomfield Parks, capturing this picture of a red-tailed hawk out at the Recreation Activity Center. A few different pictures of this bird taking a rest at the rack and enjoying some of the sunshine. Of course, the pics came with a nature lesson as well on their Facebook page at WB Parks, with the team writing, quote, when cooling off, hawks and other birds pant and puff out their feathers. Though it may look like our friend here may be in need of some assistance, we'd like to remind everyone that wildlife is best left wild and most times do not require human intervention. After a quick 15-minute break, our hawk here was back to flying high and hunting small prey. So a quick rest out there for our red-tailed hawks, just like we needed, Kevin. It's been hot out lately. It's only going to be hotter going forward, but what a sight on National Photography Day from the West Bloomfield Parks team.
Oh, I wish I would have known it was National Photography Day. Yeah, it's a great opportunity for creatives to get out there, showcase their work. It was a great opportunity, obviously, to catch such a rare bird and just doing something so, I mean, casual, but great information right there about that bird, and great picture too, by the way.
It is. Some excellent pictures. You can see more of them on Facebook at WB Parks and learn even more about their nature programs. So, hey, we can learn more about the red-tailed hawk and other birds that are flying all across our local community. Kevin, that's also a great resource to go to for some music, especially if you want to get the kids out and about and drain some of that energy early on in the day. Thursday at 10 a.m., the Kids Commotion concert series continues at Marshbank Park, featuring the Children's Theater of Michigan. The Optimist Club of West Bloomfield will also be there selling some snacks. There'll be some free inflatables. Plus, this week, a special appearance by some fairy tale characters, Bruno and Mirabelle, from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. will be out at the park as well. And Kevin, a good time also for people to get involved with some volunteerism from the Optimist Club of West Bloomfield. They're going to be out there, as they are at all these different concerts, Kids Commotion and Marshbank Music, but they're a little bit short-handed this week. They're looking for some volunteers to help them from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Marshbank, as they sell concessions and refreshments in their lodge, grill up burgers and dogs and hot dogs, and offer some snacks, cold drinks, and frozen treats to the public. Kevin, if people are interested, they can contact Jennifer Sueda to learn more. Facebook at West Bloomfield Optimist, and learn more about the club on westbloomfieldoptimist.org. So concerts, some fun for the kids, and a great way for people to get involved.
You already said it, Tyler. It's the summertime. Kids are out of school, so that means they are at home. Don't let the kids wear you out. let them wear themselves out. Take them to events like this where it could be around other kids, use all that energy, and then come home, give them a bath, let them eat, and take them right to bed. I love to see that.
Some good sights and sounds out at Marshbank Park. Always a good time for these concerts. Some other nice sights from out in the city of Keego Harbor. You may be seeing some of these signs popping out up across the heart of the lakes. Chosen by you, some of the most beautiful landscaping jobs and beautification work from homes across the city of Keego Harbor. Parks and Rec recently starting to hand out these signs saying great job to those that have been nominated for beautification awards across the city of Keego Harbor. Here's some highlights of Jeff Sherrard, who wrote on Facebook saying, quote, "Thank you so much to whoever nominated us and put the sign in our front yard. We appreciate it very much." You can learn more about the Beautification Awards and maybe still some opportunity to nominate some homes in the city of Keego Harbor. Facebook.com/KHParks. That is all of our time for this Monday here on the Splash Live. We thank you for tuning in and encourage you to always stay up to date with us on our social media. Find us on Facebook at Civic Center TV 15, on YouTube and on Instagram at Civic Center TV, and also you can find us online on civiccentertv.com. For our entire team at Master Control, Jake Schaff, Peyton Skyver, Calvin Brown, and alongside Kevin McIntosh, I'm Tyler Kieft. Thanks for tuning in to the Splash Live.